Meet Natasha, a vibrant 63-year-old woman who decided to take control of her health. She had always been a late-night snacker, chips, popcorn, and whatever was crunchy and salty. But recently, after watching a few health documentaries and chatting with friends, she resolved to make a change. No more junk food. She swapped out her chips for what she believed was a much healthier option: cashews. Little did she know that simple swap would trigger a chain reaction that would slowly start shutting down her kidneys and change the rest of her life. At first, nothing seemed off. Natasha felt good about her decision. She loved the buttery taste of cashews and would munch on them by the handful while watching her favorite TV shows. But as the weeks went by, something wasn't right. She began waking up feeling groggy. Her energy levels dipped lower and lower. Even after 3 cups of coffee, she felt like she was dragging her body through wet cement. Each day was harder than the last. She chalked it up to aging, but deep down, she knew something was wrong. So she made an appointment with her doctor. Routine blood work was ordered. Nothing out of the ordinary. Until she opened her lab report. Her heart skipped a beat. One section was highlighted in red. Kidney function, abnormal. Strange. Just 8 months ago, her labs were perfect. What had changed? The next day, her phone rang. It was the doctor's office. "We need you to repeat the blood tests. It could be a lab error," they said, but it wasn't. The second test confirmed it. Natasha's kidneys were only working at 25% of their normal capacity. That's dangerously low. At this pace, her kidneys were on a slow march toward failure. Panic set in. What was happening inside her body? Was it reversible? Would she need dialysis? These were questions racing through Natasha's mind as she was referred to a nephrologist, a kidney specialist, who began the hunt for answers. Doctors break down kidney failure into 3 major categories. 1. Is there enough blood reaching the kidneys? That means checking for dehydration, heart failure, or liver disease. 2. Is there something wrong inside the kidney itself? Conditions like high blood pressure, autoimmune disease, infections, or even cancer. 3. Is there a blockage stopping urine from leaving the kidney? In men, the prostate is a common culprit, but not for Natasha. Tests were run. Every possible scenario was explored. Natasha underwent a barrage of investigations. Blood tests, urine analysis, ultrasounds. But everything looked normal. She wasn't dehydrated. Her heart and liver were functioning fine. No obstructions were seen on imaging. That left one chilling possibility. Something inside her kidneys was causing damage, but silently. Here's the twist. When the kidney itself is the issue, urine usually reveals clues. High levels of protein, misshapen red blood cells, signs of inflammation. But Natasha's urine was pristine. No blood, no protein, nothing. It was baffling. As a side note, your urine can tell you a lot about your health. So if you're curious about what warning signs to look out for, you'll definitely want to check out this video next. But back to Natasha. With time running out and her kidney function continuing to decline, now down to 20%, doctors needed to act fast. They ordered a kidney biopsy, where a small sample of her kidney was removed and examined under a microscope. At first, it looked like general wear and tear, nothing conclusive. But then, the specimen was viewed under polarized light, and that's when everything changed. Her doctors gasped. It looked like someone had thrown glitter all over the tissue, but it wasn't glitter. They were calcium oxalate crystals. Sharp, tiny, glass-like shards embedded inside her kidneys, and they were shredding her organs from the inside out. The diagnosis? Nephrocalcinosis. Nephro, meaning kidney. Calcinosis, meaning calcium deposits. And no, this wasn't the same as kidney stones. While both can involve calcium oxalate crystals, stones form in urine. Natasha's crystals were forming inside her kidneys themselves, where they caused irreversible damage. Think of it like shards of glass embedded into a sponge. Over time, that sponge won't be able to hold water anymore. But the mystery wasn't over. Why was her body forming these crystals? That's when Natasha met with a dietitian. They walked through her typical meals: oatmeal and coffee with milk for breakfast, omelet on toast for lunch, meat and potatoes for dinner, all standard. Then came the question, what about snacks? With pride, Natasha replied, I gave up junk food and switched to cashews. I eat about 1 kilogram a week. The room went quiet. 1 kilo of cashews per week? That's over 140 grams a day. The dietitian's eyes widened. She did the math, and 2 critical patterns emerged. 1. Natasha's diet was very high in oxalates, too, and dangerously low in calcium. It was the worst possible combination. You see, oxalates are compounds found in many healthy foods: leafy greens, nuts, grains. They're often labeled as anti-nutrients because they can interfere with how your body absorbs essential minerals. Under normal conditions, oxalates aren't a problem. Only about 10% get absorbed. But, and this is the crucial part, if your diet is low in calcium, that absorption can skyrocket. That's because calcium binds to oxalates in your gut and helps you excrete them safely. But if you don't have enough calcium, the oxalates sneak into your bloodstream, eventually making their way to your kidneys, where they can crystallize. In Natasha's case, that's exactly what happened. Her snack of choice, those innocent-looking cashews, had set the stage for a biological disaster. But Natasha wasn't about to give up. Armed with knowledge and determination, she made immediate changes. She stopped eating cashews. She started tracking oxalate intake. She upped her water consumption to flush her system, and she began taking a calcium supplement with meals to bind oxalates. She also learned a surprising fact. Almonds actually have more oxalates than cashews. So it was a blessing in disguise that she hadn't switched to those. After just 2 months, her lab results told a different story. Her oxalate levels had returned to normal. Her kidney function significantly improved. But some damage was permanent. Natasha now lives with mild chronic kidney disease. She will need to monitor her health for the rest of her life. But she avoided dialysis. She reclaimed control. And more importantly, her story can serve as a wake-up call for others. The moral of the story? Moderation is everything. Even the healthiest snacks, when consumed in excess, can become harmful. That doesn't mean you should eliminate all high-oxalate foods. Fruits, veggies, nuts, and grains are essential to a balanced diet. But be mindful. Stay hydrated. Get enough calcium, ideally through food like dairy, broccoli, or fortified beverages. And if you're unsure whether your diet puts you at risk, speak with a healthcare provider. So, what happened next for Natasha? She became a quiet advocate. She started sharing her story at community centers, encouraging friends and family to get regular checkups, and to look deeper when their bodies feel off. Because if Natasha hadn't acted when she did, she might have lost her kidneys entirely. This video was inspired by a real case published in the Canadian Medical Association Journal. If you'd like to dive deeper, I've included a link to the article in the description below. And don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss future stories like this one. I'll see you in the next video.